and a number of other guys, and guys have stepped in and did a great job. Sure, we're going to miss him, but this team knows what it takes to win in the playoffs. I'm sure you're going to see somebody out there make a big play that's going to replace Bruce Smith.
So, Chris, the Bills' starter at right defensive end is Carl Wilson, an 8-year veteran who's played with 8 different NFL teams.
Yeah, and it really takes out Buffalo's 2 best defensive players, of course, Bruce Smith back in Buffalo, and now you're going to see Bryce Popp having problems as well, because the Steelers will simply slide the line towards him, and what was the best matchup on the field for the Buffalo Bills with Bruce Smith against John Jackson now becomes a very weak matchup with Carl Wilson in there.
Now, what about the Pittsburgh passing game that has been so successful this season?
Well, Ron Earhart said that their game plan really wouldn't change all that much because they were planning on sliding towards Bryce Popp anyway. But the one thing that it does, now they don't have to use a back coming out of the backfield to help against Bruce Smith. So they get an extra guy into the pattern, and actually the Steelers' passing game should be even better today.
Now, these are 2 cold weather teams, so both clubs are certainly in their element. Yes, it is cold here at 21 degrees. Jim Gray, though, prepared for the frigid conditions. He is down on the field. Let's go to Jim. Nice hat, Jim.
Well, thank you very much, Marv. I appreciate that. Well, there is some good news for the Bills. Steve Tasker, who did not practice all week, he is their wide receiver and special teams ace. He told me he is going to play. Now, he did not practice. He has been listed as very doubtful. He got to the stadium about 3 hours ago, came out and tested the knee with the physicians, with the trainers, with the coaches. He told me he will play. He's gone back in the locker room right now. He's going to take a shot of cortisone and Novocaine. And this guy is very important to the Bills because Jim Kelly told me we have built the offense around him the past 4 weeks. Now, as for the Steelers, they get a couple of running backs who they need very badly back this week. They each missed a game, but Bam Morris as well as Eric Pegram will play. And Chad Brown, who has been out for 5 weeks with a bad ankle, the inside linebacker, he will play for the first time today. Now, this is the 90s, and there's a whole different way of getting prepared. It's a family outing for the Greens. In fact, a little love tap from his wife to get him warmed up, so to speak. Greg?
All right, Jim, that's just a reenactment of what happens at home before he left. Let's talk about the absence of Bruce Smith, Joe Gibbs, and what it means.
Up until this year, the Buffalo Bills had 1 pass rusher, and that was Bruce Smith, okay? What I think really changed their team this year, they get Bryce Popp. Now they got 2 guys rushing the passer, and that was great. It's hard to defend against that. Now, all of a sudden, they're back to 1 pass rusher. All they're going to do is turn their attention over there, and I tell you, they're going to have a tough time rushing the passer.
Mike, you agree?
I disagree. A year ago, I would have agreed with him, but I think with the addition of Popp, they've got Hanson, they can move Bennett to the other side, and I think with the defensive job they have done, they'll find a way to balance out that pass. This is a good defensive football team.
Hey, Neil O'Donnell right now has a great big smile, Mike.
Not for long.
Yeah, but Mike's a changed man in the year gone by. You're Neil O'Donnell, Joe. You know that you're not going to get Bruce Smith coming at you from your blind side now. What are you thinking?
Well, first of all, you take out those extra pads you had underneath your shoulder pads. But as a quarterback, you can't worry about the pass rush. Unless you're picking yourself up off the ground partway through the game, then you start talking to your lineman about it. But you can't worry about that. Your attention has to be down the field. But I think the one thing about the Steelers is that they're a hungry football team right now. They lose to Buffalo 3 years ago, '93. They lose to Kansas City on a 4th down touchdown 2 years ago. Last year, they lose to San Diego. They knew they should have been in the Super Bowl last year, and this is a better football team.
All right, Joe. Let's turn to Don Shula, whose resignation was announced yesterday after 26 seasons with the Dolphins. Shula departs as the winningest coach in NFL history, the only head coach to make it to 6 Super Bowls, the only man to coach a perfect season, the '72 Miami Dolphins. Last week's listless performance in Buffalo was the final one for a Don Shula-coached Miami team. Bob Costa spoke with Shula yesterday.
Now you think about it, 66 years old, 33 years in coaching. There's a certain symmetry to that. It's exactly half your life.
As a head coach, and then I was an assistant coach for 3 years and a player for 7 years. So it's 43 years in the National Football League, and it's a lot of years and a lot of great memories, and tough day today.
How tough?
Well, it was tough. You know, to make a decision of this magnitude, there had to be a lot of soul searching, and you know, I talked to my wife, Mary Ann, and talked to Dave and Michael, my 2 boys that are in the profession, my daughters, and everybody involved. And I finally thought that the best thing would be to step aside and start all over again. I'm still going to be involved with the organization, and I'm a part owner, and I'm going to be on the board of directors and do whatever I can to help, as much or as little as Wayne wants.
How much input will you have into the selection of your successor?
Well, he said that he would certainly want input from me, and my responsibility would be to, I guess, recommend the best guy out there, and that's what I intend to do. And it's going to be Wayne's decision. His final decision is the owner to make the decision as to the replacement. And I would do everything that I could, or that he asked me to do, as far as exploring or recommending any possible successor.
If Jimmy Johnson is the best guy out there, could you really have a long-term relationship with the organization? Because after all, Jimmy's a guy who assumes a lot of control. You would feel as if you would have to have it. It would almost seem as if Jimmy came, you'd have to go, right?
No, the situation that I'm going to be involved in is not a day-to-day situation. You know, I'm moving away from coaching, and I'm moving away from personnel, and I'm moving away from decision-making. If I wanted to be involved in all those things, I'd want to be on the sideline, because, you know, that's the decision-making that I feel best qualified to do. But in this situation, if Jimmy's the best guy out there and he's available and he's interested, you know, I would encourage Wayne to make a move in that direction.
So part of your thinking about deciding to step aside now was that if you came back next year, it would have the feel of a lame duck year in every respect.
Yeah, that's true, and I wouldn't be able to make the necessary changes that I felt were that should be made on this football team. You know, thinking about the possibility of changes on the coaching staff and bringing in the best people available, and doing those things. I thought that it would be a lame duck year, and for that reason, I decided that it was best for me to step aside.
I've observed you this year, as everybody else has. You still have energy and fire and competitiveness on the sideline. You're a much younger man than 66 in the sense in which it matters. You're going to miss this, I think. Some part of you is going to miss it, right?
Oh, there's no question about that. Come next September, you know, I don't know how I'm going to react when that ball's kicked off on the first Sunday in September. That's when it's really going to hit home that I'm no longer a part of what goes on that playing field.
Is there ever a chance that you would coach again someplace else?
Well, you never say never, and you know, certainly that's not in my thoughts now. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the decision that I made. But you know, the game has been awful good to me and my family, and I just so much appreciate the game and the National Football League and the things that I've been involved and associated with through the years.
Have you had a chance to think of what you'd like to do, assuming you don't coach again, beyond consulting with the Dolphins? What would you like to do?
I want to try to do some worthwhile things. You know, I've been blessed in a situation where I've got an opportunity to influence people that are looking for some type of influence, and I want to always try to do the right thing and be helpful in worthy causes. I think that's important, to utilize your position in the community and in life to do the best that you can to help people that need help.
There's some interesting possibilities here. The Tampa Bay Bucks are in the market for a new head coach, and what if some people in Baltimore with an NFL franchise might think it's a good idea to have Don Shula come back to Baltimore and be a head coach? The important thing here is that Don Shula left the door open, didn't he, Joe?
Yeah, he did. Greg, there's one of two things happens to a coach after he retires. In my case, I would tell Don Shula, hey, Don, it's a great life out there. You're going to have a ball. But then there's the other side of it. Some of them really miss it, want to come back. I think this guy in September will probably be one of the guys that really miss it, and he has a lot to offer an organization.
Mike?
Your owner didn't hug you when you left, did he?
No, he didn't.
Mine didn't hug me, I know that.
Did you hug him?
No, I don't think I wanted to do that either. Let me tell you the big loss here. The big loss is the NFL. You're losing a man of great character and who has so much influence on the game. And what he's done for the game is significant. I had the opportunity of working with George Halas. George Halas was one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game, no matter what anybody says. This man has broken his record, and that is significant. He's going to go down as the greatest coach in the NFL.
Joe, you know Don Shula well, played against him all those years. What did you think as you watched?
Well, he was one of those guys, as a player, you would love to play for. Unfortunately for myself, I have a bad memory because I lost my last game to him. But the whole NFL and everyone around the country is going to miss him. He's my wife's favorite guy. He's the only one she can have name off the top. And when I first met her, she loved Don Shula. But the thing is that I really think that he is going to miss the game next year. Just like I did this year, I really missed the start of it. But come along at the end, that pressure that goes along with winning that he's had for so many years, and that the undue ridiculing that he's been getting in the press and also from the fans, he won't miss that part of it.
Is there life after the field?
There definitely is.
Okay. Up next, Ahmad joins us. We'll hear from Buffalo's multi-purpose man, wide receiver and special teams ace, Steve Tasker, right after this.
It could be the fastest way to earn miles on most major U.S. airlines since the invention of the jet. Rent a car from Alamo in January, and you can earn up to 3 times the miles you normally earn when you rent from Alamo, or up to 4 times when you use your American Express card. So for a faster way to a ticket, just ask Alamo, and start earning up to 4 times as many miles. There won't be a faster way to earn them until they start building faster planes.
Got an eating machine at home? Well, now you can fill them up without emptying your wallet. At KFC, our freshly baked chunky chicken pot pie with a biscuit is now at a special January price, just $3.49.
Everybody needs a little KFC.
People keep asking me, how does it feel to be Steve Young? Frankly, it hurts. Give me my Advil. Nothing has shown me that works better on aching muscles, or proven that it lasts longer. Advil's the one.
For sore muscles, more doctors recommend Advil than any other pain reliever.
Nasty game.
Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Oh, not now. It's 1 in the morning. My brain's fried.
Just give me your CD drive.
Give it a rest, will you?
Compact LTE 5000. Has it changed your life yet?
The RCA
Home Theater with SRS sound
is now
50% brighter with a sharper, clearer picture. Better picture, better sound.
Better get out of the way.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Compact. Has it changed your life yet? By Advil, advanced medicine for pain. No non-prescription
pain reliever is proven to last longer than Advil.
And by Alamo, for a great value on a rental car.
Just ask Alamo. 1-800-GO-ALAMO.
Steelers coach Bill Cowher expected to take his team to the Super Bowl last year, but they couldn't take care of the San Diego Chargers in the AFC Championship game.
Neil O'Donnell's last-second pass was deflected away, and the Chargers, not the Steelers, went to Super Bowl 29. I spoke with some of the Steelers about last year's disappointment. The horrible feeling that you had last year, the way the season ended, does that serve as any motivation going into this year's playoffs?
Well, listen, it's a reminder. I don't know about, some of the guys on here, but I know it's, for the guys that played in that game and, and felt that way, and it's a bad taste. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And the thing about it is that we played well enough to win the ball game.
Even though we had the opportunity last year, there were still so many positives that we're trying to draw from, and hopefully the experience in itself will be something that will benefit us down the road.
They talk the talk, but we walk the walk. They were playing videos, Super Bowl parties, no respect. No Super Bowl videos.
No, we banned those this year. We're gonna wait till we get there, then maybe do one then.
The pressure's there, but it's not, I don't think the guys are showing it.
Do you guys feel like you got a little monkey on your back?
I don't get caught up in all that. I really don't. Maybe some guys do, but no, my back's free.
One of the Bills who's been around for all 4 of the Super Bowl trips is wide receiver and special teams demon Steve Tasker, just 5'9" and 183 pounds. Tasker injured his right leg last week against Miami, but will try to go today. Joe Gibbs spoke to the man who does a little bit of everything.
You're not a big guy. What are you doing making a living in the NFL?
You kind of wish you had about 6 inches and 60 pounds, so you could compete with these guys. But it's been fun being able to do that and have guys, look at you like, man, he's so, he can still play. He can really play.
Tasker on the return.
When you see that ball kicked and you're waiting down there about 45 yards away and you realize the ball's in the air, you're waiting on it, and here comes 10 guys and they're going to try and kill you.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Well,
what's going through your mind?
I have a different kind of mindset, too, because I was covering kicks for 10 years, you know, and midway through the season, Bruce DeHaven, our special teams coach, came up to me and says, I want you to return punts this week. And I got to be honest with you, I couldn't sleep for a couple of nights. When I knew what I was thinking when I was going down to tackle the guy, and if I ever had a clean shot, you know, I was trying to take the guy apart. I wanted pieces of him to be flying off. I spend most of my time back there looking at the ball, looking at her. You know, you spend most of your time making sure that you've got room to catch it because, man, it's scary back there. I mean, it is really scary.
After all those years of playing teams, has it been a lot of fun getting a chance to play receiver?
More fun than I thought. It's been a long time since I've had a chance to go out and play after play, just stay out on a sustained drive and catch a ball here, make a block there, stay on the field.
We asked Jim Kelly, and he actually compared you to a Steve Largent. He says in practice running routes and everything.
He's told me that before, and I keep telling him he needs to be drug tested.
I always used to make a joke. I said, I'd bet anybody in camp, you can't cover him. I'll take 8 out of 10 Steve Tasker will beat you, and the other 2, I'll probably throw over his head or misthrow one.
Kelly loves that stuff. He loves to stick me on there and call the routes and you know, talk smack to those guys. We've enjoyed doing that over the years because, you know, I've been doing it so long, and a lot of guys come in, they don't know who I am, and it's fun to take them to school once.
4 Super Bowls, 7 Pro Bowls. Did you ever have a dream that this would happen to you in the NFL?
Never, not once. And it never really dawned on me that I would. You know, when I came into this league, I was like a 220-something player taken in the draft. I was a 9th round pick, and I wanted a chance to say, you know, when I was old, that hey, you know, I'd tell my kids I got a tryout. I got my shot. You know, I look back on it now. And, you know, it's 11 years later, and I've done all this stuff, and I was in the Pro Bowl. I was MVP of the Pro Bowl. No matter how it ends for me, man, I got to walk away, you know, smiling and thinking, man, it was great because every second I've been in this league, I've loved it.
All right, Joe, we all knew that Tasker was a great special teams player, having gone to 7 Pro Bowls, like you mentioned. But Andre Reed goes down. Now he shows he's a pretty good receiver.
Ahmad, here is a little guy that we can all relate to. I mean, a little guy playing in the NFL, and I'm not so sure Jim Kelly's not a pretty good judge of talent. This guy had never had 100 yards receiving in an entire season, and here he is in one game. He goes over 100 yards against the Miami Dolphins in the playoffs.
Did you ever have any of those guys that you coached that were too small?
Darryl Green, but he was real fast and could get away from those big guys.
Too small, too fast works. Up next, Will McDonough joins us with coaching news around the NFL. We're back with that right after these messages.
You think in color. Your computer thinks in color. So how come everything you print comes out black and white? Black and white. The Epson Stylus color printers, starting at $2.99 for the kind of brilliant color that will let your ideas be heard. You've got to see it in Epson color.
Good song. Great song.
You can make the mountains ring. Oh, make
With my itchy dandruff, I said I'd try it. Denorex tingles. Head & Shoulders doesn't.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denorex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
That's why I started using Denorex. The flakes, the itch, gone.
Denorex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
Got an eating machine at home? Well, now you can fill them up without emptying your wallet. At KFC, our freshly baked chunky chicken pot pie with a biscuit is now at a special January price, just $3.49.
Everybody needs a little KFC.
He's 6'2", weighs 265, can bench press over 400 pounds. And you're gonna put him in a 19-inch box? We don't think so. Come to Ovation Audio Video. Buy any Mitsubishi big screen, big tube, or VCR and pay no money down, no payments, and no accrued interest for 18 months till summer of '97. Go big at Ovation Audio Video. 3 Indianapolis locations.
For 10 seasons, Jim Kelly has quarterbacked the Buffalo Bills, and that adds up to 21 meetings against Don Shula's Dolphins. Yesterday, he talked about the departed Dolphin coach.
I hate to see him leave. I'm sure football hates to see a guy leave like that, especially the way he has. The people down in Miami abuse him the way they have. He doesn't deserve that. He deserves the red carpet treatment.
When Don Shula became a head coach in the NFL in 1963, Jim Kelly was just 3 years old, and Greg Gumbel was 33.
I was going to say we both were 3 years old. After yesterday's announcement, there are 3 coaching vacancies now in the NFL, all in warm weather locations: Arizona, Tampa Bay, and Miami. Will McDonough joins us from Pittsburgh with the latest NFL coaching news. Will.
Okay, Greg, let's talk a little bit about Jimmy Johnson. What might be good news for the Miami Dolphins, that they might be able to get Jimmy now that Don Shula has left, is bad news, I think, for the Tampa Bay Bucks. My understanding of this whole past week, Jimmy Johnson, through his agent, has been negotiating with the Bucks about being their next head coach. In fact, they feel they could have got him signed if they could have guaranteed Jimmy that the team would not move out of Tampa Bay because he wants to stay in Florida. That was difficult to do, though, because at the time, the owner of the team, the Glazier family, were in Los Angeles trying to make a deal to move the team there. Let's move on to New York and Dan Reeves. You saw all the stuff in the last 24 hours that Dan is going to be back. Let me tell you, it's not a happy situation. There were tough arguments all week long between Dan and the ownership. At one point, they asked him if he wanted to resign. He said no. He said, I'm going to coach for 2 more years, and if you want to get rid of me, you fire me. It was so bad that on Thursday night, the Giant assistants were calling some of their peers around the league looking for jobs. They thought Dan was going to get fired on Friday. He didn't, but nothing has changed in the Giant organization. Let's move quickly to Marshall Faulk, the great running back of the Colts. He had surgery last night on his knee. This morning, Vice President Bill Tobin told me they found 2 loose bodies in his knee. Bone chips. They removed him, but they don't know when he'll be ready to play, if he can play again this year. Now, you know, a few weeks ago, John Blake, the defensive line coach from the Dallas Cowboys, left to go to Oklahoma and take that job. That left the Cowboys without a line coach. My understanding is the Cowboys are going to talk to Joe Green, who was with the Dolphins, and try to get him to coach with them the rest of the year. And finally, Bruce Smith is not going to play here today. He had the flu. I've been told this morning that when the flu shots came around this season for all the Bills players, some of them, including Bruce Smith, did not take them. Back to you, Greg.
All right, Will, thank you. We know Jimmy Johnson has been and will continue to be non-committal about this coaching prospect, but what do you think of the Jimmy Johnson rumors?
I think it's terrific. I mean, I don't know how it's possible, but I think the NFL could find out a way maybe that Jimmy can coach Miami, Tampa, and the Cardinals at the same time.
And still do television?
Well, I think you can do the HBO thing. I don't know about the Fox thing.
Because you can take the HBO thing.
Yeah, you can take it.
Is Jimmy Johnson the best available coach out there, Joe?
Well, I think what an owner has to do here is decide, is he going to try and hit a home run like a couple of guys did last year with Dom Capers and Ray Rhodes? I mean, you can get 5 Dom Capers and 5 Ray Rhodeses for what you pay a Jimmy Johnson, or 2 Dickas.
Oh,
you can get 2 Dickas. Yeah.
Or how many Gibbses?
Gibbs is out. He's out.
How about your former coach, Bill Walsh? Might he come back and consider a coaching job?
I don't believe so in our last conversations, but you never can say never, as they say, but I don't think that he would be interested in coming back at this point, unless a situation would be right, but I haven't heard his name being thrown around, but in talking to him, after a while, the pressure, I'm telling you, it gets to be unbelievable when you just say that you've had enough.
Are you done playing, by the way?
Those crutches back there, I think so.
We are back to wrap things up right after this.
Some people are doing more business than ever on Fridays.
The Denver deal doable, Donnie?
Good. Help your business do more business with Sprint's amazing offer. For 1 full year, Fridays are free.
No, I'll call you back. It's Friday.
Every long-distance call you make on Fridays is free. The rest of the week, you get Sprint's great low-flat rate.
Okay, so I'll call you next Friday.
Call now, 1-800-598-5000. Don't miss another free Friday, only from Sprint Business.
At an event that lasts just 2 weeks and features contests that last just 10 seconds, 24 hours is an eternity. Fortunately, UPS now guarantees overnight delivery as early as 8 a.m. from cities worldwide. If UPS can make urgent international deliveries to people who measure their accomplishments in seconds, think what they can do for those on a more relaxed schedule. UPS, worldwide Olympic sponsor.
With my itchy dandruff, I said I'd try it. Denerex tingles. Head & Shoulders doesn't.
Both have effective dandruff medicine, but Denerex has something extra that tingles, feels fresh.
That's why I started using Denerex. The flakes, the itch, gone.
Denerex, the serious dandruff shampoo.
Lots of deadlines, lots of money, lots of screaming. It starts to burn a hole in your gut. Antacids are more prevalent in the brokerage industry than coffee is in Colombia. I take Tag 'em at HB. Tag 'em at HB works. You don't have to chew it. You don't have to drink it. You could take it and go on with the rest of your life.
Oh, not now. It's 1 in the morning. My brain's fried.
Just give me your CD drive.
Give it a rest, will ya?
The Compact LTE 5000. Has it changed your life yet?
The Pick of the Week is brought to you by American Honda, who offers an impressive family of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans. Joe Gibbs has a 2-game lead with 2 picks remaining. We'll have this week's picks right after this message from Honda.
Remember, it's not only how fast you can go, it's also where you can go. The new Honda Passport, with standard dual airbags and 1 powerful V6 engine.
Hello there.
Our final 2 picks are today and tomorrow. Thank God. Mike and Will are taking the Green Bay Packers to upset the 49ers just because Joe Gibbs is going with the defending champions. Joe Montana and Ahmad are taking the Steelers, and I like them Buffalo Bills today. We will see you at halftime with more for you, and take a look at Three River Stadium. The terrible towels are out in force for the action. The Bills and the Steelers are coming up right after these words from your local station.
A lawyer